It's really early in the morning. It's time for graduation today, and I'm here with that update that I did promise you some time ago from my failed dissertation video. So now I'm going to tell you how to write a dissertation. So tip 1 is to get yourself very organised. First things first, take a break. Read everything your lecturer has said. This might take up to 3 or 4 days. I'll see you later. Right, so building on from what I just said, which should have been to read everything. I mean everything. Not just the comments on your essay, on your dissertation, what are we going to call it? Dissertation. Not just on that. You're going to have to get all your emails together. Anything that you've got. I mean, for me, my lovely lecturer, she sent me a lot on Snapchat because, you know, it was that kind of thing. She would think of something and she would send it me to try and improve. But then there was things going back that I'd written in notebooks, like little good ideas. So I needed that. If you're interested, by the way, I'm using this Smashbox. So that was the first thing, really, and to really take it in and try your hardest to write nothing. You can, of course, take notes. That's not an issue, but you're best off just leaving it. And while you go through it, I recommend you clean up your email box, your laptop of 300,000 proofs that you have done previously, and you try your hardest to forget that you've put your blood, sweat and tears into this, because for whatever reason, or whatever reasons, if you're me, it just wasn't good enough on this occasion. So if you're not getting on with your lecturer or your module supervisor, then I suggest that you go through grievance progress. You know, if you really feel, it wasn't for me, but if you really feel that there was something wrong with the way that you were graded, you didn't deserve that grade, or maybe your work has been misread, then remember these things are normally double marked. And they're blind marked as well, but they're marked by people who haven't seen your work previously. So you're normally guided by somebody who knows to get through the process as well. So I don't think in most occasions that they're successful. But if you're going to go in for that, or if you're going to go in for, I'm going to call them circumstances. I can't remember what they're called right now because it's 5 o'clock in the morning. But occasionally there will be circumstances. So say, I don't know, say you were in hospital 3 days before your dissertation was due in, the dog ate your laptop, there's a family death, or there's a trauma, you have been traumatised and you are unable to complete your work to your normal standard. Not just complete your work. I mean, if you've got chance and you think you're failing, then phone it in. Don't hand in a piece of work that you know is going to fail. That's horrendous. So, yeah, so that's kind of my first idea. Just making sure that I'm not all orange. Right, so my second idea is that you then take out your diary or your calendar and you figure out where you're going to find the time to do this. You are going to need to normally meet with your lecturer, and I suggest you do this after you've phoned them, because they'll give you some initial ideas of what you should be doing. So, for example, I had written, I think I'd gone through the first 17 comments, rewritten it, and then my module supervisor got back in contact. I think it'd been all of 12 hours. And she said, don't do anything. And I was like, what do you mean don't do anything? I've already done 17 things. And she was just like, well, you don't know what you've done wrong, even with those comments. So, you know, come up and see me. So for me, I had to clear some diary space. So out went YouTube for a little while, or at least, you know, to the point where I couldn't really do the stuff that I wanted to do on YouTube. So that went out. I had to get from work out to get a couple of study days. Now, I was really lucky. My employer paid me to go on those study days. You might not be so lucky, so you might also be planning your cash revenue, how to get over it, contacting your landlord, your mother, your whoever, your significant other, and saying, look, you know, I've already spent normally a blind fortune on university, and now I need to spend some more. I need to get it passed, because I suppose that's another option. You know, you could always choose to quit and come back. When I spoke to my loved ones after I failed, you know, it was a big deal that I failed. I went, I said, oh, what do you think would have happened if I'd failed? And they basically said, oh, not much. I think what would have happened was you would have spent some time, you know, licking your wounds, and you would have either restarted your course or retook that part of your course. Now for me, that wasn't in my option plan, because I was a part-time student. I have to have passed this course before the curriculum goes and changes, and they change it every few years, and they were already changing it. You know, the year behind me, I'd intercalated a year due to health reasons, and the people behind me, the year behind me, were doing a different curriculum, so how are they going to mix that together? So yeah, so that's the other thing, you know, think about where your course is, do contact university and find out if you need to pay any more money. I was really lucky in that my retake, it didn't cost me any money for the uni, because my dissertation was already costing me like £200 a month or something daft. So, you know, I was really quite a happy bunny about that. I wasn't happy that I failed. Okay. So once you've met with your lecturer, and I think when you meet with them, try and meet somewhere, and really do note down what they are saying. It's a bit of a shame really, isn't it? Because they're not going to agree with you, because you already thought you were going to pass. So one of my suggestions is that you write down everything, and you have to get a take-home message. So for me, I had two. One was, I really failed to construct an English sentence very well, and that makes my work difficult to understand for some people, mainly the people who are grading my work. So not all university lecturers are going to agree with this, but my university lecturer agreed that an editor would be half decent. And I found someone actually from work, and I'll put her link down below, but she's called Parish Company, and she doesn't do health related editing. She does, you know, regular books and stuff. So she helps publish them. And so I contacted her, and I ended up sending her proofs as we went along. That was another financial outlay, but it wasn't too bad to me. It was worth it. You know, bang went the idea of teeth whitening. So that was something else that fell to the wayside. And also I did cancel a mini break I was meant to take. I was meant to go over to Ireland, but it was just too stressy and I just couldn't. I also noticed as I was going back through my my laptop and trying to clear it, I'd obviously taken that essay everywhere. That essay had been to Florida, it had been edited in Florida, it had been edited in Ireland, it had been edited in London, it had been edited in Birmingham, it had been edited through 3 jobs. So it's no wonder the thing was looking a bit scrappy in the end. So yeah, so editor was one of my take-home messages, and my other one was how to construct my argument. So if you're having trouble getting understood and you're not getting your point across, then what I suggest you do is the little tip my lecturer gave me. Say you want to talk about, I know, mascara. Okay. And so what you say is, this is my mascara. I really like it. I use it like this. Somebody else uses it like that. Then you put in your so what question. And importantly, you use the word mascara again. So you say, after all of that, I use mascara because of this. And you're allowed to say stuff in a master's. You know, as long as it's based somewhere, you've pulled it from there. So using the words at the beginning and the end is a really good way of finishing off a subject or a paragraph for me. I found out that was good. Yeah, if you've not got problems with grammar, some of these tips might not go down very well. Or syntax, I should say. So, between editor, my boss, my lecturer, pure hard graft, we did get somewhere. And in my next video, I'm going to talk about how to plan your time, preferably without going crazy. So, well, it'll be in this video with our next clip. How do I look? Human. What time are we? Oh, 5:16. Lovely stuff. Hairspray for faces. Right, okay, so that's me done, and I'll see you in a little while.
That's fine.
I don't. One, go.
Did you get it? Okay. Right, so I'm all done. I'm all graduated. I'm not a graduand, I'm a graduate. So yeah, so my final tip is to get your social circle sorted, and these guys have been such a help for me. It's not just been my lecturers, it's been my family. They have put up with me. Jenny, you helped with the editing, didn't you? Yeah. Alex, you helped me when I was feeling poorly. You came and helped me feel better. So,
and then he got poorly.
Yeah, and absolutely make sure that you look after yourself. So if you need to contact student services and get some counselling, then do so. I did contact them just before I found out that I passed, because I was really worried that it was going to affect my mental well-being. And if you're affected by your mental well-being, you should really be seeing your GP, or at least contact your student uni. It's been a fab day today. Have you enjoyed it, Jenny?
Yeah, I got to miss school.
Shh, don't tell school. And here's Hurdy, who's the Cumbria mascot. And Alex, have you enjoyed today?
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the bit where I kept on coughing a lot.
Oh, were you coughing in the cathedral?
Yeah.
I couldn't hear.
Yeah, it's not every day you get to go to a cathedral, is it? So, who saw me cry?
Me.
Who saw me cry?
I videoed
I think
you
everybody saw me
crying.
cry.
Yeah,
You videoed
I
me
need a
crying.
video.
Alright, I will see you
She
later.
telly.
Okay, so let's give everybody a message
That's
about
probably good.
trying to pass education. Do we think education is important?
Yes.
Absolutely. Is it important for absolutely everybody?
Yes.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? And this is the one who got the day off because it's aspirational, because his mum got a master's. So we would like to thank all of our new viewers, all of our old viewers, and if you're having trouble passing your dissertation, please remember some of the tips that I've put down, and I'll also put them down below for you. Alright, bye! So next I wanted to talk about getting organised. So grab your diary, grab, I don't know, your calendar, whatever it is that you do, and make multiple entries of how many points you've got to figure out to change, and then when you're going to have time to do that. And then I want you to double it. So if you think it's going to take you 3/4 of an hour to rewrite your introduction, then I want you to put an extra 3/4 of an hour on that. So you're going to do 15 minutes preparation, 3/4 of an hour actually working, and then a 1/4 hour reviewing what you've done. Because what you'll need to do, because you're redoing everything, is not redoing it all over again. And then that way you work your way through methodically, and you need to do that up until 2 weeks before, and then you put about, if you are going to do your editing. So I always leave 3 weeks for editing. So that's no new writing whatsoever, no new ideas are allowed in. You have to just do the editing. So if you need to edit, if you're having problems with editing and you haven't got an editor, one of the things to do is to look at every sentence and make sure it's got a capital letter and a full stop. If you're dyslexic like I am, it makes perfect sense to you, but just check, is there a capital letter? Is there a full stop? Have you got any two sentence paragraphs? Have you got any paragraphs that run on for more than half a page? So look at your page in total, make sure your titles are right, make sure it's in the right font, make sure it's got the right spacing, and make sure that you put it through spell check.
and then put it through spell check again and give it to somebody, stick it in a drawer for 24 hours and then look at it again. So if you think, oh my God, it's just completely overwhelming, put it in a drawer for 24 hours or close that computer for 24 hours, go and do something else and go and do something nice that isn't related to study, and then come back and read it with a fresh pair of eyes. If you need to, your uni will normally allow you to send 500 words or so in excerpts to your lecturer, or you can speak to the, for us it's LIS, which is like the library support system, and they would be able to critique it for you, even though they don't know anything about the subject. They totally know what is the definition between description, analysis, and being able to purport your own theories based on the evidence that you've already provided. So do make sure that you give enough time for that. If it means that you have to let things slide and get childcare, if it means that nobody is going to do the ironing for the next month, then, you know, live in crinkled clothes, because crinkled clothes do not allow you, you know, you looking nice and smart doesn't allow you to pass your masters. Really think about what it is you want and how you are going to get it. And if you really feel that you can't do it, maybe it's not the right time for you. And do make sure that you're getting that support that you need. So I have support from my bosses, support from my family, support from my mum and dad, support from my kids. Do you need support from the uni? And then go ahead and just get that. So if you need to spend a couple of days speaking to your lecturer, if you need to be able to also give, because I used to do, like, say I would do work on the Monday on the introduction, I would send that to my university professor, and then that would come back on day 2 or 3, and then I would rework that area, but I had that in my diary. So I would have introduction, middle, ending, and all stories, all essays, all dissertations have a beginning, middle and end, and it has to be that way around. If you need something and you have 1,000 appendices, it doesn't matter, but if it needs to be there, then you do need to give time to the appendices, and they still need to be well put together. You still need time to do your indexing, your cross-referencing, and if you haven't figured out how to do your referencing yet, oh my God, I could do a whole video on referencing, but find out which one it is. Okay, so that's me. I'm going to go. Thanks very much for listening.